1, 2, 3, 4. What's up, everyone, and welcome back to school. But don't worry, everything is cool. I'm your host, Jalissa, and of course, I am here with the boys, Steve and Brennan. Say what's up, you guys.
What's up?
And welcome to the first episode of the year.
Woo-hoo. Play the sound effect. We're too far away.
Yeah, too far.
Yeah, it's crazy. You guys can't see it, but we also cleaned the studio, so I feel like, I don't know, it feels like we're in a fresh pair of pants. We're in a fresh new uniform. Oh, for our sophomore year?
It is our sophomore year.
Are you guys excited?
Yeah.
We got plenty of guests, plenty of moments that we don't even know. Last year, when we first started the episode, we didn't even have the school desks.
This is
yeah.
episode 52, right?
I think so, yeah.
Sure.
We'll probably make about an even 100 this year then, right?
That's crazy.
That'll be crazy.
We might get to our 100 this year.
Yeah.
You
It's
guys-
the Lord, let
we,
me see
Because
it.
we got into 50.
Well, we got to like 51.
Yeah.
But we did miss one episode, right?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But we already missed the episode for this year too. So
Yeah, but it was for something important, so
Yeah.
it's okay.
And then would you guys want to cut it off at 100?
Oh, like the 100 is when we our swan
we-
song.
Yeah.
We leave.
No, not the
Really?
end of the show, but like the end of the
It's-
show for the year.
It's
Oh.
the
It's like
end
a
of our
nice-
sophomore.
Yeah.
That's true. That way we can really like
So
like,
every
amp it up.
50-ish?
That's a good
But we're gonna
plan.
need to put in like extreme stunts for like the episode 100.
Extreme stunts.
Yeah, like I'm gonna need my sister to like jump off the roof of our house.
Didn't the IE, they got to film at Spotify for the 100th, right?
Oh yeah,
I think so.
What are we going to get? What do you guys think?
We should film in nature because
Film
we're all
in
about
nature?
nature. Yeah, we should get some lav mics, film nature. Would you guys like that? Comment down below.
I guess I
Hit
guess
us with the
I
subscribe
guess,
button.
I guess I meant like who's gonna offer us, like, you know.
Oh, no one, bro, no one.
Oh,
It's okay.
We're too
We-
problematic. No,
We
just
create our own space.
that's
Mhm.
true. That's true.
Yeah.
kidding. We are the show.
We
Yeah.
are the show.
People want to come here. No, just kidding.
Yeah. What if for the 100th episode we do it in a real classroom?
We go back to middle school. We asked them. We're like, hey, let us
Watch it
let
cut
us
to
borrow the.
it's gonna cut to 100 and it's gonna be us
Is
just
it
like in here.
again.
I'd
The set
be like,
didn't-
oh shit, I forgot it was 100.
the set didn't change at all.
Cause low-key, episode 50 kind of flew over my head. I didn't even realize that should have been like a monumental
Episode
celebration.
50 was with Andrea, right?
Yeah,
I think
so it was
so.
cool. At least we had a guest. And
I know.
That was special.
When I was putting in the episode to like release on like Spotify and all
You were
that,
like,
I
what
was
the
like,
fuck?
wait, it's 50? I was like,
Yeah.
we didn't do anything.
I know, right? I know, right? For your 50th birthday, are you guys gonna do anything?
Probably, right? That's like a big one. 21, 30.
Would you do
50,
like a
75,
skydive or a hit of ayahuasca?
Nah, I don't really
Lame.
think that's my vibe.
I
What
feel
would
like
you do then?
I feel like I want
Maybe
to.
spend time with my family.
I feel like I want to skydive somewhere in my 30s
Oh, really?
or before I turn 30. one of those.
Really?
I've
I-
always wanted to do it.
But do it like take a bong hit and then.
No.
Oh. Come on, guys,
I'ma
spice
throw
it,
up.
spice it
I'ma throw
up,
up.
spice it up. You gotta spice up the life. Like, don't just take a shit. Do like, I don't know, take some DMT and then take a shit. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
No?
What?
Come on, you gotta live with the pedal all the way down.
You're weird.
Am I weird?
Yeah.
I'm weird. Really?
Mhm.
I'm the weird one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So if this is a classroom, I'm like the kid you guys don't talk to.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the kid who people are like, I don't want to be project with him.
Oh, when they see the assigned groups, they're
Yeah,
like,
they're
"Fuck."
yeah.
Damn.
They're like, and we got the ESL kid.
Yeah, you like erase your skin and like
I lick like the desk.
you eat like tissue paper.
Bruh.
There was kids like that in school. And at
The- Bro, maybe they were just
well, at the time I didn't know, but now in retrospect, I'm like, that's a shame.
There
That's
was
a
a
shame.
reason.
Well,
to
yeah,
know.
probably, right? Because all that shit, I remember there was a kid who would do that. He'd erase his skin. He'd be like, bro, when I do this, like, it starts to bleed. I'd be like,
Damn.
interesting.
Yeah, even the thing that I said, lick the desk. I knew in our high school we had iPads because we were privileged. And I remember that he would lick his entire iPad screen.
In
Yeah.
high school?
For what?
High school,
What was his goal?
He just said it tasted good.
Really?
Dead ass, yeah. I was actually really good friends with him.
He thought he was a nice guy.
I thought he was a nice guy. He was a little weird, but my toxic trait is that I enjoy weird people.
Have I met him? Have I met
No,
them?
you've never met them.
No. Do I know
we
of
lost
them?
contact.
Do I know of them?
Probably not. I
Oh.
lost contact with them.
I remember when people used to cut themselves.
That's not.
Well, I feel like that's a little. That's a different branch.
No, I know it was, but
Yeah.
I remember I thought that shit was crazy because I
Yeah.
remember always seeing it on TV,
Yeah.
and then when I finally saw it like actually happen,
Yeah.
I myself didn't know what to do because I was
Yeah.
like, do I tell someone? Do I not tell someone? Like,
I think.
are they in
yeah.
crisis? Are they not in crisis? Because like I mean, you see shows and like
Yeah.
movies about it, right?
Right.
And you kind of like hear about like that it's wrong, right?
Mhm.
And to me, when it first happened, I was like, what do I do?
I think it's because like since you're a kid, you have innocence. So
Yeah.
you're at the same time since you've only seen it in movies and stuff.
Yeah.
At least my perception, because I feel like I remember seeing it. I think probably around the same time you did,
Yeah.
and I remember thinking like, oh, like, and this is wrong. This is obviously wrong. I'm present and like obviously cautionary warning. But I was like, oh my god, like life must be so rough and mysterious. Like I wonder what they're going through. I was like romanticizing it. But it was just because I was a kid and I had only seen it in movies. So I was like, oh my god, they're deep like that. But we're like in 4th grade.
I just remember being like, y'all are crazy. I was
Yeah.
like, damn, y'all are wild for that.
Yeah. Well, because I think it's honestly a little bit of innocence. Like I think when I think about the events that you're talking about, I think that they probably were romanticizing it too. They probably didn't see it as that like this is an effective way to deal with my emotions.
Yeah.
They were like, this is what people. Well, actually, I don't know because there's an argument to be made, right?
I don't know. I'm not too familiar with the psychology of why that goes down. Honestly.
I used to be a little more because again, like movies and stuff.
Yeah.
But now I really can't remember what it is.
I don't know.
I think it's just-
I don't know if that kind of thing falls under the category of like being impressionable. I think that genuinely is like a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like a disorder.
Or like connected to like I don't know, like control or like self-harm, that kind of thing.
I get
But
that,
I don't know.
yeah.
I'm not familiar with that
Yeah.
that branch of
Yeah. Well, I guess
Man.
we'll revisit it. We'll revisit it some other time. But
That's the only crazy shit I saw. I never
Yeah.
really saw like what you guys saw. I was like,
I feel like, but I do agree with Brandon. I feel like those are two very distinctly different things.
Yeah, those are different.
no, yeah, but I was saying just like overall seeing like shit because I feel like my class was a little crazy or like that.
Unless, you know what they say, if you can't find the weird kid,
It's because it's you.
it's because it's you. Were you the weird kid, Jay? Were you
Probably.
licking desks?
I mean, I was bullied, so.
Aw, that's not nice, Julie. It's okay. I cope with laughter too.
I don't know. I feel like my class was always weird. I feel like I never had not a weird class. So. I feel like I looked
mean,
at all
I
the
feel-
other classes and was like, I wish my class was your class.
I feel like I was treated kind of like the weird kid, but I feel like thinking about it now, I think it's just like because of culturally how I was raised in certain things. I mean, I feel like I've talked about it on here before,
Yeah.
where I think in certain things, I think that's
They were
what,
like, you're the Mexican kid.
yeah.
You're
So
Mexican.
I was just like, okay, whatever.
Well, how did it feel to grow up and then see the switch up that like everybody reps their culture now?
I was so mad.
Yeah.
I was so mad because I was like, because I remember me myself, I would like that was my thing. Like I was so passionate about it, and especially like listening to like Spanish music that I was so into it. And then when it finally was like a trend, I was like, damn. And I used to be like bullied for that, or like I used to be made fun of for that. And I was like, to then grow up and just see it kind of happen. I was mad. I was pissed. I was like, damn. Because I felt like, I don't know, it felt a little like unfair.
I
Where I
get
was
you.
just like, damn, like I had already like been doing all these things and like kind of showing my culture at a young age. And then I was like being made fun of it. But now all of a sudden it's like this hot shit and like everybody wants to like be in it or whatever. And I remember just being mad. But now I'm like, I got over it. I mean, eventually I got over it. I was like, I mean, it's cool. People are embracing the culture, right? But when it first was starting, I was like, damn.
Yeah, when you were a kid, they would shame you for being Mexican.
Yeah. I was like, damn, okay. I was like, damn, okay.
I assume it was because of the assimilation of just obviously they're innocent kids as you were. So to them, they don't fully understand what's happening around them, but
Yeah.
all they see is that people are like, it's better to be Americanized. It's just safer to be Americanized. And then I think they take out the insecurity. They're like,
Yeah.
well, I'm very Americanized and I see this Mexican girl in my classroom who's very proudly Mexican. I feel like I got to fix that somehow.
I did see that it was like a lot of it was basically like American this, American that. Because I remember, I think there was a girl in our class that was very like light skinned, and everyone always said that like she was really pretty and all this and all that. And there was like this weird like what do you call it? Like you could see it. I didn't know at the time until I think about it like now,
Mhm.
but like that she was like the preference of like, oh, like because she was closer to being white, right?
Mhm.
But it was crazy when I eventually realized that. I was like, damn.
That's
Like,
what it genuinely was. It was that she was just like lighter skin.
well, yeah, because it was just like, you know, they want to get more closer to like you being like white or American, and that's
Mhm.
kind of like what it's seen is like being, I guess, pale skin or like having like blonde hair or something. And I think a lot of people were trying to do that, especially at a young age. But I feel like no one was really aware of it. Like it was just a thing because that's just how you grew up, kind of seeing it.
Well, yeah, I mean, people talk about all the time that like white supremacy is invisible in a lot of ways, but it's a thing that exists.
Yeah.
So it's probably that you just felt like I imagine you were just going around and living, and there was these small ties that felt like invisible.
Mm-hmm.
And then as you got older, the more you paid attention, the more you see that's actually in a lot of aspects.
Yeah.
It's just that I think when you're a kid, you're innocent and you don't really like see the social ties of everything.
I just remember the one of the other big things that like I would get made fun of a lot was my hair.
really.
Like the hair on my arms or like the hair on my legs. That was for sure something that like a lot of kids would like make fun of me
Mhm.
for like having so much hair.
You know what? That actually goes into a topic I wanted to talk to you about. What do you think about like women and body hair?
I feel like wait, but what do you mean?
I guess like in all aspects of it. Did you feel, well, you just said you didn't. But I wanted to ask you that in that aspect of like growing up, did it feel weird to have like body hair?
Um,
And as you got older, how's your relationship changed with you and your body hair? If
I-
that's okay, obviously, because that's kind of like
Yeah.
I know that's kind of like a private question too.
I feel like when I was younger, I for sure, well, because how I said, like a lot of people would, I guess, like make fun of me of my hair. I think I started becoming a lot more like insecure about it. And I think that's why I would always try to like wear like long sleeves and shit. But I feel like now I don't like care that much for it. Like for example, my legs, I'm so lazy at shaving my legs that I'm like, I'm just gonna leave them. Like I don't care if you can see them or not.
Yeah.
Even like my armpit hair. I know that might be disgusting to some people, but I'm
Yeah.
like, it's just hair. I think it's just that thing of like, I feel like people see hair as a little disgusting, especially on your body. And I feel like it's fine, like to have like body hair. Like I don't think there's any issue with it. And like, especially with us, like it's something to be like embraced about. The only thing I do shave is like my arms, like that, just because I like feeling like my arms, how soft they are.
They're slick.
Yeah.
I get you.
But I think that's just more like myself and like my own thing that I think it really did affect me a lot that like I had a lot of hair and at a young age that I had it so much that's when I eventually started like shaving it. But now I just fairly like enjoy it. Like it's not more of like an insecurity anymore. It's just that
I get you.
I rather just like not have like hair on my arms. And like sometimes I'll let it grow out, but for the most part, like my arms for sure. Everything else I don't care about. Like I don't care about like cutting or like shaving or anything. Just like my arms are like the one thing. And I don't know if it still stems from that where like maybe I am a little still insecure about it, but to me I just don't mind it. Like
Yeah.
I think it's I mean it's a natural thing. It comes out of your body, you know.
Yeah. Well, because I think there is a correlation in there between like body hair and white supremacy, but I won't go too into it because I just know a little bit about it. I just know obviously that because it was all about geography. I think people who were from the north had less hair because of like climate. The climate was different, right?
Interesting. No,
Yeah.
I didn't
No, you don't know
that.
anything?
No.
I mean I assume that we grow a lot of hair just to keep warm, but I don't know. I don't know that much about it.
Yeah.
Either.
Maybe I'll do a future episode of like how body image, but it's true. It's everywhere.
And I mean, for us, it's a lot more visible because our hair is black. Everyone
Yeah.
else is kind of blonde.
Yeah.
You can like it's there, but you can like hardly see it sometimes.
Oh, I get what you mean.
So
That's true.
yeah.
Oh my
that's
god.
I think that's the other difference too.
Like Chris, like your man's.
Mhm.
And does he have a lot of hair, but you can't even tell because it's blonde?
Yeah,
That makes sense then. Yeah.
I hardly ever notice it too. I'm like, does he? I don't know.
Really, are women into hairy men?
Hairy men?
Yeah.
How hairy?
Extremely
Extreme hairy?
No, I
Like-
don't know. Like a little bit hairy, I guess. Like, what's the
Um,
preferred? That's what I'm asking, I guess. What's the preferred hair ratio?
Hair ratio?
Yeah.
Um,
Brandon, would you consider yourself a hairy guy?
No,
No,
do
not
you
at
have?
all.
You don't have chest hair?
not at all.
Do you have
So we
ass
do-
hair?
Ass.
If you don't mind sharing on air.
I thought
This is a
everyone
lovely
just had
question.
ass hair.
Wait, what?
I thought everyone just had ass hair.
Even girls have ass hair?
No, like guy, like
Oh.
all guys have ass
Oh,
hair.
what do you mean? Oh, you mean like, is it, Brandon, are you comfortable with sharing?
No, I don't have ass hair.
What? I thought everyone just had
no, not every. I have
I-
homies who don't have ass hair.
I
I don't know how I know, but I just know.
The only reason I thought that is I thought that's the reason dude wipes exist because everyone.
Oh,
all the
'cause
guys
it's a
have
hairy
ass
guy.
That's
hair.
just a branding thing. That's because like a lot of guys find cleanliness what's the word?
Feminine?
Feminine or emasculating.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So like the concept of using like a wet wipe
Mhm.
is like that's for girls, you know. So they call it dude wipes. So it's like, oh, it's manly. It's what you know.
I low-key thought it
Yeah.
was because all the guys had ass hair.
Bro, that's funny. No, yeah, as a man, I've heard, I've had men in my life say like, oh, like it's gay to have your fingers around your asshole, which is so weird because it's like, so you don't wipe your butt.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we
Yeah.
did talk about it, I think, once. Where,
I
like,
think, right?
Where, like, some men actually don't wipe, and then they end up getting, like, some weird disease.
Well, because that's like a
like
So weird
prostate, like
disease.
prostate.
well, because that's like
Infections or some
obviously
shit.
that's the most like what's the word?
Extreme.
I guess the extreme one, but it goes into other ones. Like some guys think like trimming your nails or doing
Oh,
your
yeah.
nails is really
Mm.
Yeah.
you know, having well kept nails is bad, or
A pedicure.
brushing your teeth, or doing your skincare. You know, that's weird.
That one is funny, the skincare one, because I feel like it's just taking care of your skin. You know, your skin is the largest organ in your body, on your body, not in your body. But anyways, Julie, we moving on into the actual episode we were talking about.
I mean, the first part is if you guys, since it's the new year, do you guys have New Year's resolutions this year?
Go ahead.
Brandon, you go first. Actually,
What if I don't want to? Anyways, yeah, I got a few. I actually got a lot, but the one I'll share is I want to bench 225. I feel like I can get it. If I can get it this year,
I wish
I
I
d-
knew what that meant.
bench a lot of weight, like chest press a lot of weight.
I'm actually gonna pull up a statistic.
225
There's actually,
pounds.
I don't know if you knew this, Julie, but benching
So how-
225 is actually a rare thing.
So,
Not just for a human. I mean, not just for a man, but for all humanity. It's pretty rare to bench 225. I don't know if you knew that.
so what's that on each side?
245 plates on each side. The big ones. So
225
200
pounds, bro.
Yeah.
Sorry, I suck at math. So
So do I.
Look, as of April, did you know that less than 1% of the population can bench press 225 pounds?
Less than 1%.
Less than 1% of the population.
Brandon,
I'll join. I'll
you're
join.
gonna
that.
join?
But did you know? I'm telling you, I brought this up when he told me about it at New Year's.
Mhm.
I told him that there's actually evidence to show that if you're a certain height and you're a certain weight, you will never be able to bench 225. Like, it's physically impossible, which is one of the reasons why. It has to do with height and how much you weigh.
Do you
If
know?
you, I'll look it up right now.
After that, can you look up what percentage of the population can bench 315?
Okay, that's literally the second question that comes up. Why? Is there something special about it?
He's
No,
trying to do it.
I just think that's cool to have that. Like,
Well, if
achievement
it's less than
under your
1%, this is probably like even
belt. I
less.
just want to know. I'll look it up while you look that up.
It just says relatively uncommon. Bro, there's no. Yeah, it's probably super uncommon.
What
Yeah.
percent? Oh, did you look it up?
Well, it just says super uncommon.
Oh, so
it
it's
doesn't give me a
probably
stat
like-
like the other one. Yeah.
It's like none.
We'll see if when I get to 225, we'll see how that one goes. Like, is it a like, or is it like a, you know?
I told you, right? I got 20 pounds shy of 225, but it was basically gonna rip me apart. Like, I literally felt not good. It did not feel good. I never tried again. I only got one rep.
Scary.
I'll
Yeah.
catch it. I'll avenge you.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
yeah, he'll avenge me. He'll avenge me. He's bigger than me too. What are your other goals?
You have any goals?
Goals.
Goals.
Let's see. I think I wrote them down because you gotta manifest or whatever.
Mm.
You gotta
You gotta
manifest.
manifest. You gotta believe.
Let's see. Eat more fruit, drink more water, that kind of stuff. Touch grass, go hiking, that kind of stuff. But the big one, like,
For yourself.
I gotta get 225.
Okay.
225. I can respect that. I can respect that.
Do you not eat fruit?
I eat a lot of fruit, but like I don't know if you guys ever get this. Do you guys ever eat like a good piece of fruit? Like it's just really great piece, you know?
Yeah.
Fresh off the vine, whatever it is, like, and you're like, man, like this is really good. I can't believe this just grows on trees. I should eat more of this.
Yeah, at work there's constantly ladies coming to sell fruit for some reason. Yeah.
So I was like, I feel like I should eat more fruit. I feel like this is pretty good. Can't believe it grows on trees. You know?
What did you say is your favorite fruit?
Oh man, I think I'm a big stone fruit guy. I like peaches.
Peaches.
Yeah, watermelon's pretty good.
What's your least favorite?
Least favorite fruit? That's a good question. I don't know. I feel like they're all pretty good. The ones that I've tried. The one that I've tried. I don't think I've tried a fruit and been like, I don't like that.
Do you like kiwi?
I actually like kiwi a lot. Yeah. What's that? Does that count as a fruit? That white thing they put in the bags? Jamaica? Is that fruit?
I think it is.
Does that count as a fruit?
Yeah.
It's not that I don't like it. It just doesn't have a lot of flavor. Kind of just tastes like.
It's just water.
I'm tripping?
I think you're tripping.
I'm tripping.
I think a lot of people would disagree. I think some people literally just tune down right now.
you need to put some chamoy.
People love Jamaica, bro.
I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm just saying it doesn't have a lot of flavor.
Is it Jamaica? No, Jamaica is the drink, right?
Yeah, I don't think so.
I think you're talking about jicama.
Jicama. There you go. It's not that far. It could have been if it was something way off. I would have been like embarrassing.
It's of the pea family.
It's a pea, so it's like not even a fruit.
Are peas Peas are like what, vegetables?
Isn't it the rule that you have to be able to see the seeds? And that's what makes it a fruit.
You know what I found out recently? I didn't know that potatoes weren't a vegetable.
They're a root.
They're starch, which I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means.
That's their classification of starch.
Yeah, I think so.
Jicama is a root vegetable.
Oh, so then it's not a fruit.
It tastes like an apple, but it's not as sweet.
I don't think it tastes like an apple. I feel like it has the texture of an apple.
It does have the texture.
It doesn't taste like an apple.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I'm not really a fan of coconut.
What?
I don't like the texture. Like the texture really messes with me. I like the taste, but I don't like the texture.
Coconut's good for your sperm.
Okay, but yeah, I don't like the texture.
I'm dead.
I'm just saying, it's good for your
zygotes. When my dad breaks the coconut and then
I like the taste, but I don't like the texture. Like sometimes they'll have like coconut flavored stuff, and for some reason they always gotta have like actual coconut in it. I don't know. Like those popsicles that are coconut, I like the flavor, but then they add like bits of coconut, and that kills it for me.
Oh, the little flakes.
The little flakes.
I don't like that. I really don't like that.
You know what? Oh, that one's valid. The flakes, you're right. If it tastes like it, it's cool. But if it has little flakes, nah. My favorite one was the like little yogurt. Yeah. What about you, Julian? You have any goals for 2024?
I think my overall one would be for sure. The only thing that I kept thinking about was to just like be a little more positive with myself.
That's cool.
Because I feel like this past year, as much as like I was trying, and of course I went to like therapy, which I did, like my resolution from last year. I feel like I really couldn't. There was times when I couldn't stay like positive about certain things, and I feel like it's probably because it's just I got a lot of rejection, I think, and I think that's why I started becoming a little more like negative with everything. I realized that because my boyfriend told me that. He was like, I feel like therapy was helping you, and then something happened, and then it wasn't working for you anymore.
Yeah.
And then we like talked about it, and it was because of just like certain things that I was just going through that kind of like kept me in that negative space. So I'm hoping that like now, and I think just through that, it made me realize a lot more of like my own worth.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think now this year, I'm really going to try to be a lot more positive with like just everything. Like if I still continue to get like rejection, like it's hard, of course, like it's hard getting rejected by things, but I think I'm still going to try to remain positive and just like move on from it. For sure, just that. And then I'm hoping to be, I guess, a little more stable with like my money and stuff. Just like with jobs. I feel like maybe hopefully finding something thing with like where I want to establish myself a lot more. I was gonna say like a car, but that's not really on my mind too much. So, but for sure, just like the positivity. I'm gonna really try and see what else I can do for myself to kind of not be as like harsh with myself with certain things. But yeah, I think that's overall what I kept thinking about. And then overall, always just like love, happiness, and
Prosperity.
Yeah,
That's cool. That's cool. I like both
good
of you guys.
fortune. Good fortune.
I like both of you guys' resolutions. I thought they
What
were
about you?
beautiful. I actually don't have any. I actually don't think I've thought of it.
You don't want to manifest
It's
anything
the
for
year
the
of the
year?
dragon. And
I-
you don't have any New Year's resolutions.
I feel very happy and content with how my life is going. But that's why I think I've had trouble being like, how can I improve it even more? And I'm like, gym, but I'm like, gym is always the same thing. So it's like, that's a consistent thing. So I guess it's kind of hard. It's difficult to kind of have a resolution. Because like I said, there's the basic things like, yeah, like love, prosperity, happiness. But I feel like I've done a good job of encapsulating that in every day. Like, I just feel like my mind has just gone there. Maybe it's the developed brain. But I feel like it's done in my brain is always pretty stable. So I'm like, what else do I need? I could say money, but that's just not like my money is good. Obviously, you need it to live, but it's not something that I'm like thirsting after.
Not
you
even
know?
goals for the podcast.
You know what? That's what I was thinking of while you guys were saying that. I have a lot of goals for the podcast. I want to obviously bring attention to more issues that I feel like are important. I want to grow, obviously, our family, our audience, everybody who listens and watches. I want everybody to feel like they're in this huge community of people who are just like us. So I definitely have big goals for the podcast. But other than that, resolutions, because I feel like resolutions are things that are new in a way, right? Like I feel like things that you don't already have.
I mean, it could be like you already have it, but you just want to be more diligent about it. You know, more just a personal goal, I assume.
Yeah, but I guess that feels like I already have that. Like that's a given in my brain. I feel like a resolution is something like you know when you went to therapy. I thought that was so sick. Like I thought that was such a beautiful resolution for last year because I was like, that's something new, that's something challenging, that's something adventurous. You 225, like you know what I mean? That's new. You never done that. It was gonna push you to do this. Like what is gonna challenge me the most? And that's what I'm having difficulty with. So I guess I'll see.
I feel like, I don't know, maybe there's always something new every year. You just haven't found it yet. So that's your resolution.
You're right. She's right. That's why she's my sister. My New Year's resolution is to find my resolution.
Something new for you this
something
year.
new. Something new.
That's
I
the
just
new
want
year.
something new.
That's his New Year resolution is to find something new.
Something new. You know what? You're right. My New Year's resolution is something new. Whatever that could mean.
Yeah.
It could mean a lot of things. Maybe it means new content for the show. Ooh.
Stay tuned.
Maybe it means like I experience what it's like to break a bone for the first time.
Oh my god. I heard it's horrible. I do not
It sucks.
I do not want to experience that.
It's new.
It's new.
It's new. It's adventurous. I venture off into the world.
You'd finally be the one in the family. I don't think anyone's broken anything.
I know. No one in our family has ever broken a bone. I would be the first. Yeah.
I feel like it would be you though.
Right. Makes sense. It's like destiny. It's like calling towards me. But yeah, that's all I have for that.
All right. For sure. One last one. I for sure want to like travel a little more. I feel like this past year I didn't do it that much. I feel like I want to for sure like visit more friends out and go out and stuff. And
that's cool.
Just explore.
Yeah.
I feel like, was it last year that we went camping? No,
it was 2 years ago now.
Okay, yeah. I want to do more of that, like going to a cabin and like going somewhere, like
That's
Big
cool.
Bear or like Tahoe or something.
That's cool.
I want to do that. Sounds pretty fun.
I
see my friends' pictures and I'm like, damn, I wish I was there. But yeah, that's a couple more New Year's resolutions. But now with the new year, there's new laws going on. If you guys heard about
you
them.
see how she did that? That was smooth. There's new laws.
There's new laws that took into effect with the new year, starting from January 1st. So I'll mention a couple of them and tell me what you guys think.
Okay, I'm so excited.
All right. So for the first one, I think I sent this one to you guys. So police officers are now required to tell drivers why they've stopped them before asking questions. I don't know if you guys ever remember when police drivers would be like, do you know why I stopped you? Now they have to tell you. They can't really like ask you that question anymore.
I heard about that. That's really cool.
And it's designed to reduce minor violation traffic stops with intent to search a vehicle.
Well, yeah, because I think that do you know why I stopped you is such a loaded question because it kind of
Trying
implies
to get you to admit something.
Yeah,
It's like, because it's like, oh, why'd I stop you? Oh, the weed. And it's like, nah, I what? I was actually
like what got
taillight,
you?
Yeah, you know?
Yeah, it also just kind of I feel like it implies like guilt. It implies that
Yeah.
you're guilty of something.
When you're because I feel like when at least seeing it in other like shows or whatever, they're like they get a little more like defensive when they ask you and you're like, no, why? And then they're like, well, why are you giving me attitude? That's how I pictured it in my head.
Instigating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now they're required to tell you. Like they can't ask you the question anymore. Now they're required to like tell you.
Yeah, that's good. Well, because it reminds me of kind of like I've heard like a philosophical thing where it's like if somebody tries to intimidate you, are you the bad person for responding to that intimidation? Do you get what I mean? Because like let's say somebody threatens you, and then even though they haven't done anything, you just like punch them. Are you telling the bad person because you instigated that action, or did they actually started first? You know what I mean? Because that's what I think about with a cop. Like, not at all saying to assault officers, but I'm saying like if they come at you seeming very instigating, very intimidating, of like, do you know why I fucking stopped you? They're not gonna say fucking, but just to like emphasize the point. And you're like, is it the like
the open can of beer?
Yeah, is it the open? It's like, why? Like, I can't drink and drive, Obviously, wait, that's a bad example, but you know what I mean. Whatever. Move on.
All right, the next one is speed cameras. So speeding cameras will be installed in 6 cities, including LA, Glendale, and Long Beach. This is if you're at least 11 miles per hour over the speed limit. And the fine is either from $50 to $500.
You don't fuck with that one?
Yeah.
What are even the point? I feel like one thing that how do I say this? I think that the difficult thing about speed cameras is that it implies that there has to be a certain amount of people that break the law, which again, I feel like just assumes that people are naturally criminals. It just assumes that there's a certain amount of people, and I feel like that's not fair. Because I think when people are desperate to make their quotas is when they violate a lot of like human rights. I know it's funny because just speed cameras, but that's what I thought about because Glendale used to have a lot of speed cameras, and I always was like steaming in my car about how they have cameras. But whatever.
Well, I guess they're gonna have them again. I think they were just saying like they want to do that just to reduce speeding around like schools and like different parks and stuff.
You know what? People do be speeding around there, so maybe.
I saw it was funny because in the comments a lot of people were like they need that, especially in Glendale.
Yeah,
because I guess there has been a lot of like injuries there because of people speeding and also just car racing in general.
Really,
that does happen there. So maybe.
No,
that's what the comments say. So don't quote me.
I still disagree.
But yeah, and I mean they used to have the red light ones, and then they took them down. No. Yeah,
well, because I'm telling you, the reason why they discontinued them is because they weren't making enough money off of it. Yeah, well, because that's what people say. Traffic cops are some of the most annoying cops in the world. Is because sometimes some of them have quotas that they have to meet. They have to give out a certain amount of tickets. So that's what I think is.
So that's a real thing.
Yeah, that's a real thing. Yeah, quotas.
I never searched it.
You don't know what a quota is?
Yeah,
no,
that's why you're supposed to be extra careful at the end of the month, right? Because their quota's up, and that's why you see a bunch of like cops like being like, "Hey,
yeah," because it correlates to that. Like, do you know why I stopped you? They hope and pray. You're like, because of the bag of weed.
Because of my seatbelt's not on.
It's like yes, exactly.
Yeah,
All right. So the next few ones. Retail stores are required to have gender neutral toy sections in addition to boy and girl toy sections. companies out of compliance face up to $500 fines.
Very
Oh wow,
cool.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
I thought that one was interesting. I was like,
Yeah.
wow. I was
That's
like,
cool.
I was like, that's cool. Now that they're gonna have that, I wonder how it's gonna look like. That's what I was curious about. I was like, I wonder how that's gonna look like.
Dude, when we were younger and we would go to like drive-through restaurants and they would give out toys, did you sometimes want some of the boy toys?
I think I always wanted the boy toy.
Right? I feel like when I was a kid, am I wrong? Or were the boy toys always... Oh, I'm biased. Were the boy toys always better than the girl toys?
I
biased?
don't have any memory of the girl toys, honestly. I only have memory of the boy toys when I see those core cores on TikTok.
Like Burger King or
It'll be like POV, you woke up in 2007 and your mom took you to McDonald's and, you got and then it's like the toys and I'm like, oh, I had that one, you know?
So I was like, oh, that one's cool. Yeah.
The only time I would ever like be like, I don't want this toy is if I already had it. Like, Mom, can you ask if I can get another one?
I'm dead.
No, they would do me dirty. Sometimes they'd accidentally give me a girl toy, and that's how I knew they were trash. Cause like it's not even just that I'm a boy and it's a girl toy. I remember it was just boring. I was like, what? The boy toys get like action figures.
It wasn't like stimulating enough.
Yeah. Cause I
Yeah.
swear it would be like the boy toys would be like an action figure, and the girl toys would be like a hairbrush.
Like a plush.
Yeah.
Well, or like I think the guy toys, they usually would do something. Like you could put it on
I remember
a wire
they
or
had like a
something.
Kung Fu Panda one, and he'd go like, "What?"
Yeah, like
shit,
they would maneuver. These would just be like dolls that just stand there.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's why they were lame.
I don't
Yeah.
know. I feel like sometimes the girl ones would eat. I feel like there was this one time. I don't know if it was the girl one or if it was just in total, but they were just dogs, like dog plushies. I thought they looked kind of cool. You probably look at. They're like, I don't know.
Did they have big eyes?
big noses? They had big noses.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and
yeah.
I was like, I think that's cool. Yeah.
I think it was part of the Nintendo DS game. What was it called?
The puppy one?
Yeah, like the
yeah.
puppy one. I think it was part of that.
Yeah.
It was like
I
raise
like
my own
that.
dog.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
I
why we got the
remember-
gender neutral toys now.
Yeah.
The section. So
I
that we-
remember for me, I always felt it felt nice because I felt like I had a choice. Like I could be like, if I don't fuck with the girl toys, I could just get the boy toy.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I was like, yep.
Very cool.
So I had that. Other things going on in workplaces. So 40 hours of paid sick leave or 5 days off a year. So that is now going to be applied to full-time, part-time, and temporary workers. So they can finally request a couple more days off. I think it used to be 3 days. Now you get 5 for the whole year. And then
good.
minimum wage. So minimum wage used to be $15.50. It's going up to $16.
Wow.
And then I think they said starting in April, minimum wage for fast food workers will rise to $20 an hour.
Wow.
Yep. What do you guys think about that one?
That's
Whoa, it's crazy because that's like a higher pay range that like jobs that aren't that. So I think it has its pros and its cons.
good. What do you mean?
Because I think it could be like if you're somebody who works like who went to college and then gets a job straight out of out of high school. If you get a job straight out of college and then they don't pay you as much as like a drive-through place would pay you, I'm sure that those people would feel as though like they went to school to be paid less, you know? But the pro is that like obviously if you're a minimum wage worker, you get paid a lot.
But I feel like that's propaganda. I feel like that kind of thing only shows up because people like tend to say like, oh, if you're a fast food worker, you're not actually working. That's not a real job. Like, why should you make this much for flipping burgers?
Yeah.
That's a gross generalization of like what they actually do. I mean, you see clips on TikTok all the time of what a nightmare that kind of work actually is. So for me, I'm like, I feel like that's deserved. Plus, I feel like if you adjusted for inflation, right? That's what people in like the 50s made for doing the same kind of work, you know? If you adjusted for inflation, it's like 25 today.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, I feel like when people are like, ooh, blah, 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 I'm like, well, that's just propaganda. So.
I also felt
I don't know if I agree with that take.
I also felt the same way because I know for sure that's like a big problematic thing because they're like, oh, it's fast food or whatever. But I feel like they do a lot, like, especially like you always hear people get into accidents of being burnt.
No, for sure.
And I feel like, especially just the people that they like deal with, like when people get mad about getting their orders wrong, like they get yelled at and like, or they get shit thrown at them. Like I feel like they do a lot. They're there for like a good amount of hours. They have to clean like not only just like the room but like restrooms, all that. Like they have to do a lot. And I feel like because I do put into consideration of like retail workers where I'm like, how is it like for them? Because it's like they also deal with like problematic customers or like very entitled customers,
You're
right?
being racist to them and shit.
Yeah,
Entitled.
and like I that's the only other thought that I have. Like, how is it for them, and like maybe if there could be a change for them. But I feel like with fast food workers, there is a little more difference of the type of labor that they do.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel because it has to do with food, right? I feel like that's the difference there. And that's why I'm like, I feel like it's kind of deserving for them to like do that.
No,
And
yeah,
for
they
a lot
for
of
sure
people,
deserve it.
for a lot of people, it's also like a starter job too.
Yeah,
I don't know if
Yeah.
it'll be like harder to get in now into those places,
that'd be funny if it
but
was.
but I feel like I mean they are like a huge part of like I mean everyone loves fast food. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people
They're
don't.
the backbone of America.
Yeah, so it's kind of like I feel like it's kind of deserved.
No, it's 100% deserved for sure. I wonder too if it'll help because it's like an easily accessible job. That's why I said I hope they don't increase like the difficulty of
Like,
having to
yeah.
acquire it because I feel like having an like fast food is everywhere. Like you said, it's the backbone of America, and if these jobs pay really well, then that's perfect for everybody who needs a job.
Yeah, and that was I think that was for sure like the goal. I think they even Gavin Newsom said that they're the backbone and like
Because they are. Come on, bro. Like probably people who are watching this episode right now probably just went to go see a fast food worker.
yeah.
So they for sure deserve the pay. Because I mean, you see all the time those prank videos where they'll like throw like soda and slushies on their face. And it's like, bro, they better be big.
Or you always see them trying to fight them in the drive-through.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm like, bro. That shit's crazy. And like,
Yeah.
and I would if I was getting paid so much less than that, I'd be like, bro, I'm not dealing with this.
You think we'll see more of those? What's it called? That the girl who retired from Walmart that went
Gail
to
Lewis.
Yeah. Do you think we'll see more of those types who like are like all about their job and they rep and die Jack in the Box? They're getting like Jack in the Box tattooed on them.
Yeah.
And because that's what I think about.
Maybe.
I think about like because I think that's the beauty of fast food jobs is that because you don't need too much experience, it's easily accessible so people can hopefully make a living off of it.
Yeah.
You know, I just wonder how does that affect like other jobs? That's what I wonder. I wonder
Yeah.
if those jobs also increase or if it's like some kind of like wage gap.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like right now, like the minimum is 16, but places can like raise that where it's like, oh, you get paid like 18 an hour.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's just more about how like I think you should be able to earn a living no matter what job you do.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're putting in a certain amount of hours, like if that's your full-time job,
Yeah.
I feel like your pay should be able to, no matter what you do, should be able to compensate
Yeah.
you to have a meaningful life.
Yeah.
So I feel like when it comes to like, oh, there's gonna be different wage gaps, I feel like I don't know, I feel like it's kind of understated how like the pay that a lot of minimum wage is, it's not like feasible to live off that.
Mhm.
Like, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why people bring up like adjusted for inflation. It's actually way more. It should be actually way more because if you look back in the 40s and 50s, you could work something like that and like feasibly feed your family and like
Yeah.
live a comfortable life, you know? But that's what I think it's more about,
Yeah.
you know?
And I
Yeah.
think that's why a lot of people back then were a lot more devoted to like the places because it was like, oh, I make a living out of here. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna stay here and stick on it.
Sure, humans I think are naturally loyal. Hot take, but I think they're naturally loyal, especially for like if it's something that's giving them something that they can live off of.
Yeah.
Like even it's so funny to compare it to nature, but I mean even people do that. Like if they get a lot of like water and nutrition from like an oasis, they like love that home and they protect that home. So
Yeah.
you'll see people repping fucking McDonald's and Jack in the Box hella hard. So
Yeah.
to me it makes sense.
Yeah.
I hope that what happens is that it inspires, I guess, other people to also raise it.
Yeah.
Because it's like you can now make that argument of like, why am I gonna work here if McDonald's pays me more?
Yeah.
You know, you could like,
Maybe.
and then they'll maybe also increase that. Because you're right that fucking inflation, like it sounds insane, but that's not even living of wage anymore because the
Yeah.
fucking economy is so bad. Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
Because imagine in 2005 if you had been here, you know, McDonald's they pay you like how much was it? How much are they increasing it to?
McDonald's $20.
$20.
Fast food. Yeah.
Bruh, that's fucking amazing. But because of inflation, everything's just more expensive. It
Yeah.
just It's like what? So what would it be? You don't know this. As if like your Google. Fucking I wonder what the like for just for inflation. I wonder how much that like actually is.
Yeah.
You know.
I also feel like how you said being a full-time worker, because I think I did it for like a little bit, and it's like you just live there at that point. Like you hardly ever see anyone because like you're there for like so many hours of the day, where it's like, damn, like when do I have my own free time now?
Yeah, no, you're right. I have this friend who works for. I'll be really anonymous with it because I don't want to say his business, but he works for a corporation, and I remember he moved recently to move closer to his job, and he said that it's a smaller space, but he doesn't care because at this point of his life, he works so much that his home, his apartment, is just a place to sleep and then get ready for work.
Yeah.
So it's and so I think that's true. Yeah.
I'm just like, that's crazy.
Yeah, people are cogs in a machine.
We hope this helps a little more.
Yeah, hopefully
it makes
something needed to be done.
A little bit change, you know.
Yeah.
So a couple more. I don't know if you guys have heard of this one. So healthcare expands Medi-Cal to eligible undocumented immigrants of all ages. So I guess a lot of like undocumented immigrants are gonna be able to have Medicare.
Wait, say one more time.
So healthcare.
Say one more time.
So healthcare expands Medi-Cal to eligible undocumented immigrants of all ages.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, they're all gonna get health insurance now or healthcare.
That's good. Bro, we're moving closer to universal healthcare.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, makes sense.
Starting with them, so that's cool.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, hopefully. The next ones is banned employers from using hair or urine test results for marijuana in their decision to fire or penalize workers. So you can't be like tested for like marijuana and all that.
Really? Thoughts on that one, guys?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Well, because what does marijuana even do to you? Well, I guess it depends too on your job.
Yeah.
Because it's like
you're operating heavy machinery.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
You're a truck driver.
You're a nursery school bus.
You're a surgeon.
You're
a surgeon?
Bro, that'd
Can't
be
be treated
trippy.
on the job.
That'd be trippy.
Nah, I can't do that.
No, you don't think so?
I'm squeamish with that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I get
like
you.
when I get blood taken, I can't look.
So
I don't look either.
It's too much for me. It
What
freaks me out.
But I just don't look because I'm like, I don't want to trip myself out.
It trips me out, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like it gives me existential dread.
I get you. Because it's like, we're just bags full of blood.
Yeah. Well, because
You're tripping them out right now.
well, because like if I was ever to be like a medical profession, like because they gotta work on like cadavers and shit. No, hell no, I can't do that. Because I'd be like, that's like a person though. Like I can't detach myself like that. I don't know.
What is it called? Morgues, right?
Yeah.
Where they are. There's a girl on TikTok who like talks about all that. I don't know if you guys have seen, but she talks about how she like works there and how she like repairs like their skin, like if they're damaged. Yeah.
I can't do that. I genuinely can't.
I'm sorry, but I just thought that was interesting because she like now has a whole like page about it, and I'm like, damn.
Do you think it'd be easier if it was somebody you loved?
No, probably 10 times worse.
Oh.
Bruh.
Well, I thought like, because you know how you take care of people when they're sick?
No, because I feel like I think it just trips me out like in a lot of ways. I feel like as a stranger, right, you'd be like, you were like alive 1 second and now you're not. Like, I don't get what happened. Like, what's the change? Like, what left? You know what I'm saying? Like, your heart stopped beating, but
you'd just be
your essence is gone. What do you
just
mean?
be looking at them,
you know? But if it's like if it's someone you loved, it's probably like, damn, I had so many memories with you. Like, we used to hug and laugh and do all this stuff together. And now you're just not here, but you're right there.
It's because I think that there's almost like an instinct that if it's someone you love, that it kicks in where you're able to push past it for the moment. Obviously, probably after, you'd probably like break down or cry or whatever you need to do. But I think about myself, and I think about how my parents, whenever the time comes, I feel like I'd be able to like hold them and caress them.
I think if it's like in a movie and it's like dramatic and it's like immediately after, like someone got shot and you're like holding them or some shit, that like I can do probably. But like if there's been time, like if it's been like a day, nah.
All right, well, I hope in real life if I ever get shot and I'm bleeding out, hold me, bro.
Yeah, and that. But if it's been like a day or two and like, nah, I'm not gonna
Damn, you're fucked.
How's that fucked up? If anything, that I feel like that's more because I have so much respect.
I get that. I get that. Which is crazy. I've had this argument since I was like in high school because I always just pictured myself that whether my parents or anybody who I love like dies, I feel like I'd just be able to like touch them because I'd want to touch them one more time. And I remember the person that I told that to was like, what the fuck? I feel like if my parents die, I wouldn't even be able to look at their bodies.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn. And I don't know. I guess it's different. I guess everybody's different.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? I was gonna respond to something you just said. What did you just say?
Me?
Yeah. Before this, you were talking about. Oh yeah. So if I get shot, I was gonna laugh. I was gonna be like, bro, what'd you do if I try to give like an emotional last speech, and then I just halfway through I was like, Brandon, I want you to.
I feel like that's kind of cool. I'd be like, I don't know what he said.
I wonder what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
I've thought about in a morbid way. I've actually thought
what
about
your last words would be.
Yeah, I've thought about my last words in the event of like some shit like that. Like I got like stabbed or something, and there's like one. I don't know why I thought about it recently. Cause
I saw this TikTok. It was like famous last words of people, and I don't know. Some of them were pretty cold.
What were they?
There's this one. I think it was like Shakespeare or something. He was like, "Oh, now I find out the mystery," and then he died or some shit like that.
That's
Or
hard.
there's something like it wasn't shit. I don't know. I'm making it up, but it was something like that. And then there's other ones where like it'd be like sad, where it was like Frank Sinatra, where he just said, "I'm losing," and I was like, So I feel like I don't know. You gotta go out cool.
Yeah, the reason I thought about it is because I was watched a clip from 1917, I think. You know the movie where it's like one shot.
Oh, he gets stabbed. Yeah,
in the movie, the one of the soldiers gets stabbed, and his friend's like holding him as he's like dying, and he's like, "Don't tell my mom that I was scared."
Oh,
yeah, and
I think that scene's always kind of got me, not because of what he says, because I felt like it was really realistic.
Yeah,
because he turns pale.
Yeah.
Because like his blood's draining. I was like, damn.
Yeah, so I watched that scene and I was like, fuck, like what would be my last words? Because I feel like I would want to like comfort, like let's say it was you or anybody was holding me while I was dying, like I got stabbed or something. I'd want to comfort them, but I'd also want to like at the same time show them appreciation of like that they're a good person. So I was literally thinking, what are the odds? I was literally thinking of my last words. I was like, what would I say? And then I started giggling because I'm like, what if I try to say it? I'm like, there's a... and then I just died. Like it's harder because I'm sure it's harder than it seems.
They say Tupac's last words were "fuck you" to the cop that came and asked him how he was.
Damn.
Really?
That's what somebody supposedly says.
Nah, I don't think so. That's probably an urban legend.
That the cop, I think it was like a cop who came to be like, "Oh, who did this to you?" or some shit like that, and that he said that Tupac just said "fuck you."
What would be your guys' last words? Let's say in the same scenario, you just got stabbed and you know you're dying. You'd be like, oh fuck, I'm dying.
the treasure is buried.
The treasure is buried.
What would you say?
I guess I'd just say I love you.
I actually thought the 1917 one was kind of cold, even though it's kind of sad.
Don't tell my mom I was scared.
Yeah, don't tell my mom I was scared. Because I feel like, damn, that one's hard. I was like, oh my god. Don't tell them I was scared.
I'm crying right now.
Yeah, bro, because you're right. It is so realistic, so it gets me because it's like, damn, I wouldn't know what I would be thinking.
Yeah.
Because I remember I saw a video once of this guy being stabbed, and he just says, I'm dying.
Damn.
Yeah, that was his last words.
That's what Steve Irwin said.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that they got him in the heart, and that they were like, yo, Steve. They were like,
you see?
They were like, yo, what's going on? And that he was just like, I'm dying, bro. And
damn.
Like,
yeah, I saw a video. It was this guy. He was like defending his convenience store, and then the guy stabs him. And then the guy's holding him, and his last words are just, I'm dying. But he wasn't like panicking. He was just telling, like the same thing. He was just kind of telling them.
Damn.
So I'm like, so you for sure get a chance to say something. Damn. I just hope whatever I have to say
interesting
is beautiful,
crazy,
poetic. But anyways,
last one. I don't know if you guys heard about this one. But they lifted a statewide ban on cruising and undoes a ban on modifying vehicles to certain low heights.
Cruising?
What's
qualified?
Like
cruising,
just like car cruising?
I didn't even know that was illegal.
Yeah, wait,
I didn't know that either.
How do you distinguish
I didn't know that either. But
know.
I guess like there used to be signs everywhere that would like say, because I saw it somewhere on TikTok that a lot of them were taking down like signs that say that you're not allowed to like cruise here, or like you're not allowed to like pass by like more than 5 times or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. So it used to be a thing that, and I remember seeing so many like TikToks and reels about people being happy that they finally like lifted the ban.
Yeah, well, because that's a super old school ban. That's like super racial profiling.
Yeah, and I think that's what it was a lot. That for sure it was targeting,
Latinos.
A lot of Latinos.
Yeah. Because like a cultural thing.
Yeah,
that's like
and somebody showed that there was a sign that actually used to say that, like, no cruising allowed, or you can't pass here. Like,
yeah, that's targeted as fuck.
So it finally got lifted.
Wow! Yay! Yeah. Dub.
Thank
you, Julian.
Yeah.
What an amazing segment.
There's a couple more, but those were the ones that like stood out to me and I was able to find.
No
but
worries.
There's a lot more, so check them out so you guys can stay updated. Don't
Link
break the laws.
will be in the description down below. Right, Brandon?
What? Yeah, sure.
But yeah, those were the new laws of 2024.
Wow.
Coming to you
soon.
Soon.
Like a movie.
The new laws
that's
just
cool.
dropped.
Well, it's like do you remember when you would watch DVDs and then it'd be like,
coming soon to theaters
near you.
Yeah.
Coming soon to a city near you.
Yeah.
I always remember that one. And it'd make like the music.
Oh, and it was like squares and colors going like that.
Yeah, nostalgic, bro.
Very cool.
You're in, what is it, 2008, and you're watching.
POV, you're in 2008, and your mom put on your favorite DVD. And it's like, I mean, I'm talking shit, but I like those.
Is that it, Julie?
Yeah, that's it.
Cool.
So what were we talking about? Famous last words and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Speaking of important words, have you guys seen that guy who gives those horrible wedding vows to his wife at the altar?
Oh, the one where he's like, I promise to smack that ass or something.
Yeah, that's
explain.
Well, it's literally just a video of a couple. They're getting married and they're exchanging vows. And when it's the groom's time to exchange vows, his vows are, I promise to smack that ass every chance I get. And he goes, those are my vows. I didn't prepare anything. And then the priest or whoever's officiating, he's like, is that really it? Like, is that really what you want to say? And he's like, yeah. Like, that's all. I don't have anything. Like, that's all I want to say. And then I guess his name is Cody, because somebody in the gathering is like, come on, Cody.
Yeah.
But I guess for more context, that I found interesting was like, I guess like on surface level, you'd be like, oh, maybe that's just their like relationship. Like, they just don't be giving a fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Her vows were actually like really long and really well thought out.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like, oh, she did the same thing where she's like, oh, I don't know. She actually gave really well thought out vows. So I don't know. Thoughts?
I just thought that was crazy when I first saw it.
As a woman,
I know that the video is a lot longer because people were saying that the priest gives him like 3 tries.
Yeah.
But there's a conversation that happens before before he asks him again.
Is
like,
there?
are you sure? Yeah, there's a longer video of it.
Yeah.
I forgot what like he was asking, but it was like a totally like different thing.
Yeah.
But people edited the shorter clip to it seem like he was like saying like, oh no, like 3 times when the priest asked him like 3 times.
Yeah.
But still, like that shit was shitty.
Yeah.
For me, I was just like, damn, like that's fucked up. Because I feel like as a woman, I feel like a wedding is something that I would say a lot of women think about, like how it's gonna happen, like what they're gonna do for that like specific wedding.
Yeah.
And I feel like for sure vows is like, it's the thing that you see in a lot of like romance movies where it's like it's the man kind of like saying like his love for you and like and you guys both exchange that because you guys are both gonna be lifetime partners and like experience the world together, right? And to like kind of hear that and kind of see that, because in the fact that she had like meaningful ones, it does, because I feel like a lot of men aren't romantic. Like, I feel like a lot of men sometimes don't tend to be like very romantic.
Not the men that I know.
I guess we know different men.
We do.
But to me, it did make me feel bad for her. But people were saying that she defended him though. Like she ended up defending him. I never looked it up, but people on the internet were saying that she defended her husband.
Not surprising.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. Come on, that's her husband.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't?
Yeah.
Like how what's her name? Who got recently released?
Oh, she.
What's her name?
Is it Gail?
Kale?
Gypsy?
Grace? Gypsy Rose. Gypsy Rose.
Yeah.
Yeah. How she defended her husband? Did you see?
I
You
saw
see it?
that.
And she said the D is fire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bruh.
So, side note, that's not the guy who. That's
But
a different guy, right?
I don't think
I
so.
don't
I don't
know.
think. I
'Cause-
think the guy that murdered his mother is still in jail.
Yeah, because I saw a tweet about that being like having your boyfriend kill your mom and then he's doing life in prison and then you get another man.
It's
is-
her
is
husband
wrong.
now, no?
Yeah,
really?
They're
Yeah.
married.
They're
yeah.
married.
I don't know.
think
I
they're
don't really
married.
know anything about that story. So
Yeah.
I just saw
just
it was
thought
cool.
That was a crazy response.
why-
The
but-
D is fire.
But why was she defending him? Because
People were just making fun
people
of him.
were just making fun of
People
him.
were just
Yeah.
making fun of him.
He
Okay.
posted a selfie and everybody in the comments was going in on him,
Yeah.
just saying like he's like ugly or whatever. And she responded saying, "Don't listen to the hate comments because there's so many more positive ones, and those
Do
love
you-
you just
do
like
you-
how I love you."
do
You want to
wanna
read it? Okay, read it.
Because she says something crazy.
Side note, she
No,
says,
the last
She
part.
says something like he be blowing my back out every night, and I'm like, oof.
that's not what
okay.
she says, but she might as well have said that.
Okay, well, this is the paraphrase. She says, Ryan, don't listen to the haters. Besides, they jealous because you are rocking my world every night. Yeah, I said it. The D is fire. Happy wife, happy life.
Hey, you know what?
I mean,
As she should.
yeah.
You
If
see,
she's happy and like she defended him if people were calling him like ugly or
that's
whatever.
good. The nails emoji.
No?
Period.
You don't think
Period.
that's different though?
What do you mean?
Like the way she defended her husband, the way like the other lady defended.
Oh, no,
him.
that's completely different. Oh, yeah, there's not even the same like
but
ballpark.
I mean, just in the sense of like wives will defend their husbands. You know?
No, yeah, but it's just like to me, I'm just like in a way, it just seems very disrespectful. Where you're defending a man that's disrespectful towards you, you know, like especially this being, and I don't know, maybe they don't take it that serious. I mean, she seemed like she was gonna give out her vows, but if they weren't gonna really take it serious, and like I guess that's them that if she knew that he wasn't gonna like take it serious, kind of thing. But I'm like, I feel like the way that it was portrayed on the internet, it just seems very disrespectful. Where it's like. She poured basically her heart out to him, and he just said, "I'm just gonna smack that ass for the rest of my life."
Yeah.
And I feel like that's just very disrespectful. And I think to be in the perspective of defending that man that disrespected you, and it's now all over the internet, I'd be like, I wouldn't defend him.
You'd be like,
I'd-
drop him, sis.
I'd leave him for sure.
leave him, sis.
I'd
I'm
I
genuinely
wouldn't get married with
surprised-
him.
I'm
I genuinely
surprised
wouldn't get
nobody
married.
in her family stood up when the guy was like, "Does anybody have anything to say?" Or
Would
was
you-
that after the vows?
if you had a
Is that before or
daughter,
after the vows?
if you had a daughter, and that's
Well,
what the
I'm
husband
leading
said.
to that. I'm leading
Okay,
to that.
okay.
Would if you guys were like at all related to her, close friend, maybe you were a parent, sister, sibling, whatever it is, would you have said something during the?
I feel like I would have been
problem?
in shock
Mhm.
to even say something. I would have been like, "Is this for real happening?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
To like really do something in the moment,
Yeah.
but for sure something after. Like if that was like Chris, like if Chris was saying some shit like that, I'd be like, "What the fuck?"
You wouldn't.
Like,
So if
imagine
So
if
you
we
wouldn't.
were-
So you wouldn't say anything.
so if I would be like, is your dad gonna say something? Because I feel like I don't
Mhm.
know. I feel like that.
Well, I'm telling you,
'cause
I'd be in
that's
shock.
that's another thing. Apparently, her dad like paid for the wedding, and it's
Yeah.
like a.
But that's
super,
the usual.
But
no?
it's like a super big venue. Like it's not like this. Like it's in our backyard. It's like, I guess the point I'm trying to make is like I get like if you don't like weddings like that or like you don't take that kind of thing seriously, that's everybody's preference. But to me, it's like then why are you getting married?
yeah.
Like I feel like the whole point of a wedding is because it's supposed to be like a serious ceremony.
Yeah.
So to do all that and then to kind of just be like, I don't know, I don't care. I don't know. I'm surprised nobody jumped him or like said something.
They should-
Yeah.
you
if
know?
you didn't start getting jumped.
Yeah.
I generally think people were in shock.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah, I think
I
they're in shock.
I don't know. It's hard because I feel like you would see the type of character he was at least before they got to like the wedding. Like you would know if he's been that type of way. Like if he's been like
Like, it's just
disrespectful
not a
like that
surprise on the
before.
wedding.
Like I don't think it would be that surprising if you really knew them. I feel like the way I'm kind of thinking about it is that I think that they probably just have like if the dad paid, especially for the whole wedding. This is just an assumption. I think she's very much like daddy's little girl, and I feel like she met this guy and he's probably like a bad boy, and she was finally like, oh, I found him and like I'm in love with him, daddy, and like
Bad boy? He
I
seemed
want to
like a
marry
dork.
him.
I don't know. He kind of seemed like a
But
dork.
that's why
Bad boys look different to every
Oh,
person.
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I feel, at least to her, he
That's a
seemed
bad
like a
boy.
bad boy because he's very and the way he said that, like he just seems like he kind of breaks the rules or whatever. Even though it's cringy, but like he's horrible at being a bad boy.
He's
but
an
like,
outlaw, you know, he's a renegade.
yeah,
he's
and
a
I feel
renegade.
like. And I feel like that's where it kind of like comes from, where like, oh no, like I found this guy and like he's such a bad boy, even though he's just a very disrespectful man, and like he's just really weird.
Yeah.
And I think she's just more like, oh no, like he loves me and blah blah blah, and
Yeah.
like, but she doesn't see it. Like she
Right.
doesn't see it because she's just like, no, like he finally paid attention to me. I caught this bad boy, and like I'm gonna keep him.
Yeah.
And I think that's just the way it seems, especially
She's
if her
right.
dad is the one who paid for everything. Like I think it's just like she gets her way in a way,
Yeah.
and like she finally got her way, and she wanted this bad boy, even though he's like really disrespectful
Yeah.
to her. But like, and I feel like people
See,
probably
this
saw
is
that.
why we have women on the show.
Yeah.
And I think people probably saw that, but she didn't listen to anyone.
Yeah.
Like she's very much in love with this guy. She's not gonna leave him.
Yeah.
Like she's like, no, like I'm gonna stay with him.
I
And
don't
I'm
know.
sure that's why a lot of people probably like kind of spoke up, but nobody spoke up because they were like, bro, we've been telling you. Because I seriously doubt that nobody knew that this is how he is. Like if this is his personality, like if this is how like he is, I'm sure you would see it. Like if you
Yeah.
hung out with them, I'm sure you would see if they're ever bickering at each other.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure you would see all that, especially if they've only been together for like a year, you could probably see it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
especially if you're close friends, you'll see it.
Yeah, just like one of the things that I've just learned from toxic relationships is that if the person who's in the relationship is okay with it, as the wife showed because she defended him,
Yeah.
then it's very hard for you to actually step in and like somehow make that person see that
True,
that's like a
true,
troubling toxic thing.
I think I would have said something. I feel like if that was somebody like
Yeah.
close to me, I would have said something.
It for sure
Yeah.
always.
I don't
feels
know
like
that. I don't know that I would have been like. I don't know that I would have been like. I wouldn't have been the guy who had said the.
Is he
"Oh."
bothering you?
No, I wouldn't have done the
Is
whole
he
like.
bothering you?
Oh, if speak now, forever hold your peace. I don't think I would have said it there, but I would have been like, you should probably say some better vows, bro. Like, you know, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Not on some. Is he bothering you?
Yeah,
Is
no.
this man
Is this
bothering?
guy? Hey, is this guy bothering
I
you?
just, for me, I also just hope, and I know I'm in a current relationship, but I'm also like, I hope that if you guys see something, you guys would tell me at least before I even get engaged with him.
Yeah.
Like, I would hope that you guys would tell me, like, oh, he doesn't seem right for you.
I have a
Like,
good track record.
like I would say, like, if you guys want to be good friends to me, I would be like, bro, tell me before we even get engaged. Like tell me to just like
Yeah,
break up with him.
I agree. I completely agree. But I see how sometimes people are stubborn to actually be told what to say. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've told you, I have a good track record. There have been situations in my life where I told someone that I felt like their romantic partner did not have their best interest with them. And though they may have agreed and heard me out, it took their own will to really do it.
Yeah.
So
Well, yeah, but I'm saying myself, like, still tell me.
I get
Still
you.
tell
I
me.
get you.
And
So far,
I
so
mean,
good,
it is up to me if I make that decision. Again, it's like when people are in toxic relationships, right? There's only so much that you can tell them, and it's their choice whether they want to leave or not.
Yeah.
Like some people will stay, and you did your dues in telling them that like they're not right in that relationship, and it's a harm for them.
Mhm.
But it's to each their own of like they want
Yeah.
to stay.
I guess I'm just like, I just remember this one event when I was way younger, like a long time ago. I remember this friend that I had broke up from their toxic relationship. And I remember them saying to me, how come you didn't tell me? And I was like, I did tell you and you ignored me.
Yeah.
And I just feel in that sense is like, I don't know. I'm like, don't also blame your friends for something that you chose to get into.
But you see, in that sense too, it's also like you told them, and even though they don't remember, but you're like,
No, they
at least it was
remembered.
in my conscious that I told you.
They remember. They just they didn't consider it the same way. They were like, no, like that doesn't count. You get what I mean?
Okay.
Like, doesn't
Yeah,
count. You didn't tell me. I was like, bro. Did you want me to myself take your phone?
yeah. So do you guys think? Then do you guys think Vows should be romantic then?
I feel like I said, I feel like I don't think anybody. I feel like if you want to get married, get married. If you don't want to get married, don't get married. But I feel like the point of getting married is that it's a serious like thing, no?
Ceremony.
It's a serious ceremony, no? So to me, it's like if you're gonna do it and then not take it serious, then I don't get it. Because I feel like you can get married unseriously. Like you can go elope, like go to
Yeah.
Vegas, or like go to like, I'll just do it in the court, you know.
Mhm.
But I feel like if you're gonna go the whole 9 yards, drop like $100,000 on a venue, fly people out from all over the world,
Yeah.
and then like you're kind of like, I don't care.
Mhm.
I feel like I don't know. That seems kind of stupid.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, no, I agree.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's funny. I've been seeing like all over. There was this TikTok about this girl who was like, for 2024, we're just gonna accept that some women want to be with crappy partners. Because they were
Yeah.
mentioning like a lot of them. Because there's been a lot on TikTok, at least the ones that I've seen.
Yeah.
So for sure they mentioned like Cody's wife went through the wedding and then like she defended him. Simone Biles defends her husband.
Oh yeah.
There was a woman who had like a puzzle and her man's broke it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I saw that one, and she defended him. There was another one that was recent. That was the Christmas stocking one.
Oh, I saw
Yeah.
that.
Wait,
That
what
shit
was
crazy.
that?
So I don't know if this is the right one. Can I say it?
Mm-hmm.
He gets like his girl like a Christmas present, and he like bolts it down. Like he like builds something around it, and it takes her 6 hours to take it apart. Is that the right one?
No, I was thinking of a different one.
Oh well, but this one's crazy. So he like builds this like crate. It's like and he bolts it with like nails and like all kinds of things. And he's like filming her, and he's like, "Oh, it's like you got to take it apart." And it takes her like 7 hours, and she gets it out, and it's like a t-shirt, like he got like at Walmart or some shit. I mean, it's not a t-shirt, but it's something like really shitty.
Yeah.
Like, and he made her take that shit apart for like 7 hours.
Jesus.
What was the stocking one?
I think
Yeah.
the other one that I was thinking about was I think all the kids like get their stockings and they're all like filled with stuff.
Yeah.
And then the wife is the only one that has an empty stocking.
Oh.
And then her husband was like surprised as to like why hers was empty. And I think she was like, because you're supposed to get me like the stuff. I don't get the stuff for myself. And she also ended up defending him.
Damn.
And so then she talks about how like in the video and I thought too, because I'm like, it's the same thing. Like as much as you tell them that they have crappy partners, they're not gonna leave them. And for sure, I think for me, like what saddens me with that is just like to me, it's what we said, like stand up girl, like come on, like don't be disrespected, like because a lot of them, I guess, end up saying like at least I have a man. And a lot of them were like, well, you can have a man, but he also needs to be respectful, you know, of you. Because I guess like a lot of them do end up saying that, like, oh, at least I have a man, or kind of like that.
Yeah.
But it's like you have a man that's very disrespectful to you. Like I don't think that's something to be proud of. Like that isn't something to be proud of.
Yeah.
And so yeah, because you know it's just like. It makes me sad because I'm like, I feel like, do these women really feel like this is the type of man that they deserve?
Yes.
You know?
I think that's exactly what it is. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but and I know it's cringy to say that you accept the love that you think you deserve.
Yeah.
But it's true. It's just like it reflects like whatever their parental figures had in terms of romantic relationships. Sometimes people grow up in broken homes or their dads were just toxic to their mom. And it passes down. You get with what you're familiar with.
Yeah.
So if to you growing up and seeing your dad be like insensitive to your mother, not caring for her, being cold, showing no emotions, then you're gonna grow up and think that's what love is, even subconsciously.
Yeah.
And so you accept men who are cold, are mean, are abusive, are toxic. That's just like the how hard it is to break like a generational cycle. Because that's all it is. It's a generational cycle.
Yeah.
That's why it's super important to, you know, go to therapy and be aware of your own traumas because they affect your love languages. Sometimes you need like a professional to tell you, like, you do realize that you're accepting behavior that you don't deserve. So, as sad as it is, I feel like it's so easy, but to like blame these women, like it's so easy to, and I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but I'm just saying it's so easy to be like, women just like men who treat them like shit, but the issue's deeper than that. And I think not giving women the benefit of doubt of that it comes from just like grandma and grandpa to mom and dad to me, having unhealthy ways of showing love.
Yeah.
I think that when you don't do that, it gets very like misogynistic. It's just because women are like these objects that just like to be thrown around and pushed around. when I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
Just based off what I've learned. So I feel like it is sad, but sometimes the blame is misguided. But
yeah.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this relates, but have you seen? I didn't know we were gonna talk about this, but so excuse me if it's a little. I don't know what the word is, but have you seen those TikToks about women saying that men weaponize stupidity, that they ham up being stupid to kind of like as an excuse to be like a bad partner. And one of the like there'll be like a lot of stitches of people like giving examples of like, oh, my man did this or my man did that or this and that. And one of them was like, this guy was like, oh, like there's something wrong with our baby, like her nails aren't growing. And then her wife was like, are you dumb? Like I cut their nails. Like that's what they grow. I just cut them.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was this like ongoing thing about how like men do that to avoid responsibility and be like, oh, I didn't know. Like I don't know how to do that. Like that's why you know better than I do.
Mm-hmm.
And it reminded me of what you said when you said that that your mom was like, oh, guys don't know how to clean because they're just stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know?
Yeah.
That's.
I feel like I can see that. I feel like I guess I see that in like shows when they kind of like play into that.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was like a purposeful like thing that they're
I
doing
don't know,
that.
yeah,
Like
but people say that. I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, I have seen it. Like
Yeah.
I've seen it on just like shows and stuff where
Yeah.
like they play like they're dumb and then the wife's like, "Oh, let me do it then," or kind of like that
Yeah.
thing.
and they're like, got him.
Yeah. But I didn't know that it was like people
Had a
like,
term and everything.
like guys actually do that intentionally to like
Yeah.
so that they won't do things.
Do you think they do that intentionally? Do you think guys do that intentionally?
I think some do, and I think some men just are dumb. Like like they don't know how to think sometimes.
Yeah.
Like logically. I think isn't it like a lot more men are more like, what is it? What's there's logic and then there's
Emotion and then logic.
Rational.
or is it rational? Yeah,
Rational and
rational,
irrational
irrational. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that one.
Have you ever heard about that? The myth that men aren't emotional isn't true. That actually most men are extremely emotional.
I think so.
And that they have no idea how to emotionally regulate. That's why instead of talking about how they feel, they'll like punch a wall or they'll scream at their partner and
They
start
just
fights.
Yeah, that's why
Yeah.
my hot take of I don't think thugging it out it truly exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think thugging it out. I mean, I'm not here saying like I think I get why the idea is appealing, but I feel like this idea that like, oh, like I'm just gonna like take it in and like
Internalize it forever.
internalize it and keep it under. I don't think that exists. Like I think that's just movies. Like I feel like people who do that, it just comes out in different ways where it's like, oh, they're completely cold and distant to their partner and they hurt them along the way. And I'm like, well, that doesn't seem like you're keeping it a you problem. Or it's like,
or they have a short temper
and they like yell and scar people and like and say things that like really affect them growing up. And I'm like, well, that doesn't seem like you're kind of making it a you thing. Or it's like they like drink themselves to death and it's like, does that, you get what I mean?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I feel like I agree. I don't think that kind of thing really exists. I feel like everybody's emotional and it's like a part of life that you have to feel those things.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I think as a man, the older you become, the more important it becomes to become mature with your emotions. Just pretending that they don't exist in and of itself isn't true because matter cannot be created or destroyed. Same with emotions. They don't just magically go away. They're going to find some avenue to come out. And the harder you keep them in, the harder they're going to bounce out of you. And like you said, you find yourself in unhealthy habits.
So they hurt you a lot more if you keep them in.
Yeah.
I think so.
Well, think about like a ball of air. You know when you were at the pool and you would submerge it just a little bit under the I was gonna say sea line, the water line, and it like pops up. But the further and further down you submerge it, the faster it pops back up. It's the same with emotions. The further you put them down, eventually they build and build and build until one day something triggers you. Because that's another thing. People think that triggers, like, oh, I'm triggered. It's like I don't know, like a liberal idea. But triggering is a real super valid thing that everybody goes through.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as you're with somebody who you're romantically interested with and they say something that gets you upset and you start this big fight out of it over something so small. That's because you got triggered. That's because everybody has these things that reminds them of something in their life that either upsets them or brings out a very visceral feeling of emotions.
Yeah.
And that's why as a man, it's important to regulate those emotions, because acting and falling into the patriarchy of as a man, I don't need to show my emotions is just going to end up getting you killed. That's all it's going to do.
Yeah.
But good tangent.
That's it. But another interesting tangent of that about how like you brought up like the word triggered and how people like how you said they make it like this liberal like, oh, feminist gets pwned and she gets triggered.
Yeah, it's
That
like
kinda
it's
shit.
like, oh, it's only for like
Yeah.
neurodivergent people.
Yeah, I really hate that, and I think that's such a like. I just hate that like that happens to a lot of words, that like they kind of lose their meaning and they get painted into something else that they're not. But
Like woke.
yeah, like woke, and it can go across the board. It doesn't even have to be just like political words, and it's weird
I
that those
get
are even
you.
political
Yeah.
words, because it's like
Like
a lot
goon?
of. Well, sure, but that wasn't really the point I was making. But
Okay,
but like
sorry,
I agree. It's just more like
Bruh.
I feel like a lot of those words are like heavily attached to something that's really like impactful or really meaningful, like the word like triggered, right? Like that's a real thing. Like people have like a serious issue, and like to kind of turn that into something else, I feel like that's lame. Like how that sucks that happened. Or even if you look at like mental health disorders, right? Like people are talking about like, oh, I got ADHD, or I'm so bipolar, or I have anxiety and I have depression. It's like, well, maybe you shouldn't say that, man, because I feel like those words are attached to something really real and really visceral for a lot of people. So it sucks to see that. I don't know. I just think that's like a weird thing that happens in life, is that like words that I think are really important kind of turn into something like a lot less like.
What you're saying actually leans into my topic. Can I
Go ahead.
Moving on to my topic, but still related to what Brandon is saying, I have a hot take. One of the possibly already the hottest take of 2024. And I'm so excited to share it with you guys. I actually found this take a couple weeks ago, but I haven't found the perfect time to do it. But what better time than the first episode of Everything's Cool? So here's the take. With 45K likes, 4K reposts, 3.9 million views, this user said, not everyone is autistic. Some of you miss social cues because you smoke so much weed that you're experiencing mitochondrial dysfunction. THC blocks lactate production in your brain, which impairs your social skills / behavioral responses.
Is there more?
That's it.
Oh no, yeah, I completely agree.
I thought there was more.
I actually personally kind of have like a little bit of an issue with that.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've never been the whole like joke police type. I feel like if you want to joke about what you joke about, I don't really give a shit. I feel like, but don't just turn around and act like people can't get mad about what you're joking about. But I feel like with stuff like this, I just find it really weird, based on the tone of our generation, that's something that everybody's kind of okay with. Like, I don't know. I guess the thing that I deduced from our generation was that we're very pro mental health. We're very pro, like, watching what you say. Everything you say has a consequence. And for me to hear a lot of people throwing around the word autism and kind of making a joke out of it, I'm like, I guess in some instances, like, oh, I guess that was a little funny because it's like a relatable thing that happened when you were a kid. But in a lot of scenarios that I hear that brought up, I'm kind of like, well, what about the people who actually struggle with that? Like, I feel like you're making it seem like it's not, like it's, oh, everybody has it. Like, don't worry about you. And it reminds me of the things of like, when it comes to like people who actually have like a diagnosed anxiety disorder or a diagnosed depression disorder. I feel like that kind of thing is probably extremely frustrating to people who actually struggle with that kind of stuff, because it's like, well, that kind of sets the precedent of like, well, now people aren't going to take it seriously. Like if you genuinely struggle with like an anxiety disorder, and the way people always talk about it online is like, oh, just go to the gym, or like if you're depressed, just go to the gym. It's like, I feel like that deeply undercuts like what actually is going through, what actually is happening. And I get a lot of people also say like, oh, well, I have it and that's how I cope with it by making jokes out of it. I feel like that's a completely different subsection. Like, that's cool. Like, you want to do that, that's cool. That's how you deal with your thing. But I'm more talking about how everybody kind of like self-diagnoses. I feel like that, I don't know, to me that flies in the face of like, oh, we take mental health seriously. You get what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get what you mean, because it relates to me more in the sense of like, there is a lot of people on the internet who are like, I struggle with this because I am a self-diagnosed like specific mental disorder.
Yeah.
And I think that what's the problem with that is that I think it ignores just what is actually causing that sometimes at the root cause, because it's the user goes on to say that it's the you might say that you have poor social skills, but it's might because you have an unhealthy living, like you're just being on the internet all day, you're not going outside and actually interacting. It's funny, the touch grass, right? But it's like going outside and interacting with other people, you get so much like of the health benefits from that. And I think that that invalidates a lot of the struggles that people who do get diagnosed with those disorders actually go through, because it's not as easy as like you go through life and these specific things will make you feel better. It's simply something in your brain that is just like an imbalance. And no matter what you do, you can't really like try to amend that because of it's a disorder. So I think that when people romanticize having mental health disorders, it invalidates those struggles. Like it invalidates the severity of people who actually have those. And it also, I feel like, normalizes unhealthy behavior. People like wake up. For today, I had an iced coffee and a wax pen, and I stayed in and was on my phone on TikTok all day. Like stuff like that. I feel like it normalizes that behavior because you don't associate that that's actually what's causing, poor social skills and off behavior.
Yeah, I guess the way I guess I'm having a difficult time articulating the point I'm trying to make is, well, I feel like I articulated okay what I originally said, but I think there's more to it for me too, because it's like I feel like there's some aspects where I'm like, just there's also an important thing to acknowledge, like just because like someone has like a disorder doesn't mean they are the disorder. You get what I mean? So I guess to some aspect I can see the more like the benefit of joking about it, because it makes it more like acceptable. But I have a difficult time believing that that's the real reason people do that. I feel like in general people just kind of think it sounds funny and they don't really think about the consequences of what they're saying, And to me, that's why I feel like a lot of people have a hard time like about maybe talking about this kind of stuff, because I feel like if you have something, if you're genuinely struggling with something and you're unable to like express it correctly, I feel like maybe it's harder to express it when everybody's like, oh, well, I have that shit too, and you're like, oh, well, I guess they seem normal, like maybe I'm the weird one, like I'm just kind of weird, You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, like we're feeling it strongly.
Like it kind of just invalidates other people who actually have like that serious like if they're autistic or if they have ADHD or if they actually have depression. I think it just invalidates the people who seriously have that. Yeah. Like it takes away like the seriousness of it. If like people are just saying, like everyone's just saying like, oh, I have depression, like I'm just really depressed. But it's like there's people who actually like go to like medical facilities to like get diagnosed and take medication.
Yeah.
And I think it becomes hard to speak about it because then people are like, oh, well, I have it too. Like I'm always sad too. But it's like, no, like it's a genuine like illness that some people struggle with, that they're just missing something in their body that just doesn't give them, that happiness that they need. And then there's people who have it very severely, and a lot of people just don't take that serious because it's like, oh, everyone's sad, it's just an emotion, right? Like and I think that's what you're trying to say, right? That it just kind of invalidates people who actually have those things. Because I feel like I do see it a lot on TikTok, and like to me I do get in that, I guess, realm of like whether I believe them or not, where I'm like, are you really, like, is it like how you say, like, is it like is it part of your personality? And I'm sure some of them like are, because it's like so severe to like some of them where it's like, come with me as a person who deals with like ADHD or something like that. And it's kind of like there's some people who kind of like say that they have it, but they haven't been rightfully like diagnosed. And then there's other people who severely like suffer with like different illnesses. And then it's like, I doubt that, or I don't know, maybe some of them showcase it, and then there's other people who are too scared to kind of like show that side of themselves.
Yeah, because I always look at, for examples, I always look at extremes of like things, and I won't say it just because it's like, but I just imagine if somebody who, it wasn't a mental disorder, right? It was like a physical disability. If they were like, I'm feeling so like, blank today. It's like, that's kind of an insensitive joke.
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
Yeah.
And I think that it goes to show you how much there's so much stigma still against mental health, to where it's not given that type of like, what's the word? Like sensitivity around. Like obviously you wouldn't say, today I'm feeling blank. I'm not going to say it because that's fucked up. Today I'm feeling blank, but it's a physical, imagine a physical disability. And it's like, obviously everybody would look around you and be like, what the fuck? Why do you say that?
Yeah.
But obviously if you say it now with a mental disability, it's like, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Me too.
No, yeah.
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 You know?
Yeah, no, I get what you mean.
Yeah.
I guess I'm trying to also like tiptoe because I'm not trying to say that like if you have certain things, like you have to be this like tortured soul and like there's
I
no,
get you.
and you can't like exist in a world where you have a sense of humor about it. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm just more like, I don't know. I feel like this is one of those things that, in my personal opinion, I feel like deserves more sensitivity.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's kind of weird. I just feel like it's just a really weird hole. Like, I feel like out of everything that our generation seems to like preach and talk about, it seems such a like fly in the face of everything else.
Yeah,
You know what I
it
mean?
seems hypocritical, and at least for me, I feel like it lacks respect.
Yeah, I think so. But I don't know.
I guess people.
No, I agree. I agree. I think you're spitting.
I think there is something with what you're saying where like I think words are being twisted into something else, like how you said. What was the other words that you were saying
Which
that
one?
people were using, like triggered, right? Like
Yeah.
it's being misused now, and I feel like now serious words that actually like mean something are also being used, like misused.
Yeah.
now. And I think I don't know where that comes from.
Yeah.
Kind of like, where is that all kind of like stemming from? Where like now people are kind of like misusing all of those things,
I think-
especially when
yeah.
it's like serious like stuff like mental health and
Yeah.
stuff.
I just think mental health is just stigmatized. I think that because there's been a lack of conversation, it's all loose. It's all loose in the public domain, like
Well, I think
public perception.
I think there's like a lot of reasons why it's not taken seriously. Like, for one, it's a deeply personal experience.
Yeah.
Like, depression for someone might not look like depression for you.
yeah.
Like, obviously there's that image, right? Like, of like, oh, like they're very sad and depressed, but like it might not look like that, you know?
yeah.
And that's why I'm kind of like, I feel like some of these words, like, you should probably be careful about
Yeah.
it, because I'm like, and that's why like the words like depression, anxiety too, it's like, I feel like people throw that around too loosely. It's like, depression is a feeling, you know,
Yeah.
like you can feel depressed, but there's a difference between, I think, feeling depressed and being depressed and having depression, or like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm anxious about this job interview, you know, like, I think that's like normal. Like, people have that. That doesn't mean you have a diagnosed anxiety disorder. That's a
Yeah.
completely different like subset of like things, you know?
Mm.
And that's why with the whole like, oh, like I'm weird around people. Like, yeah, you can be weird around people. Like, a lot of people struggle with that, but that doesn't necessarily mean you have like you're on the spectrum of autism.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like there's some people who are actually really like are having a really difficult time with that, and it really affects their lives. So to kind of be like, oh, it's just this silly, goofy quirk I have, you know, and like,
Yeah, because I'm telling you, people use it then to justify an unhealthy lifestyle, and I think that's where I find the most, like, at least dangerous. Dangerous is a strong word. I feel like just the most unhealthiest relationship with it is that I just feel like it normalizes like unhealthy behavior and
Yeah.
unhealthy habits.
It's just harmful
Mm-hmm.
to like the people who actually suffer. Well, not suffer, but like go through that.
yeah,
Because it just shows like this image
Yeah.
that reflects out to people, where it's like, if you're living like me, don't worry, like it's not your fault. But there's a lot more control and accountability that needs to be
Yeah.
put into like how people treat the health of their brains.
I guess it is hard because it's like there's people who go with different severities of like each
yeah,
thing.
yeah. That's
So
why
it's-
I,
I
do,
think
I
that's
do
why it's a
think
little
it's hard,
hard.
because like
Yeah.
even now I'm a little apprehensive, because I'm like, I'm not trying to say like you have to be like this tortured soul, or
Yeah.
that you can't possibly. It's like when people talk about like movies about people of color, where like, I'm not trying to be like, oh, you guys are struggling with immigration and all that shit, you know? Like, I get it,
Yeah.
like it's a nuanced like issue, but I don't know. I think it's a weird subset of culture right now.
Yeah.
I agree with you, and I can only hope, as like you said, because our generation is very about mental health. That'll be another thing, because I think the conversation changed. I think about Jordan Peele when he made Get Out. Obviously, because at the time when it was, I think the Obama administration was. Oh yeah, they mentioned it in the movie.
Yeah.
It was like their second time.
Yeah.
I think in the midst of that, it felt as though racism was conquered in a way because we had a black president. But then a second layer of nuance came up that Jordan Peele explores, where it's like some people are so proud that they're not racist that they become racist
Yeah.
because they, in a way, romanticize and fetishize their approval and admiration for Black Americans, despite them being the same, despite there being no physical like differences between the races.
Yeah.
I think it's the same way. Is that I think that because we've become more accepting as a generation to mental health, I think now we're finding new issues as to like, okay, what does that look like? How do we navigate this, and what can we do to amend this? And I think that's a beautiful end to the show.
I like that. That was good. I like that.
This episode was to be very chill, very cool, take us into the new year. But next year I'm coming right at you. It's gonna be a serious episode. I'm gonna bring in serious topics, and we're gonna have some serious business. You guys will see. I'm excited to actually talk about next week's podcast. So you guys will see my topics.
Happy New Year's, guys. Thank you for continuing to view into a new year. We got a lot of plans and a lot of exciting content for you guys. So I hope you stick with us along the journey. Happy New Year. I know we're a little late, but before I send y'all off, I got to do a shout out to our patrons. Shout out to Yoel. Shout out to Jay Chicano. Shout out to Daniel Villanueva and Sara without an H. If you ever want to join our Patreon, our link is always in the bio. We have a lot of cool content on there, so it's worth the price. But thank you guys for watching. Happy New Year, and we'll see you guys next week.
Happy New Year. Bye.
Bye. Happy New Year. See ya.